Yeah. Okay, everybody happy? Everybody can understand me? To give me a yes? Everybody hear me, understand me, everything? Yes? Excellent, good. Let me know if you really don't understand anything and I'll try and speak slower. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so firstly, the word proper. Okay, its usual meaning, that poor tramp could really do with a proper meal. So something that's real or satisfactory, we describe as proper, like the proper way of doing things and so on. That's usually what we would use the word proper for. However, in a more colloquial context, it's used as like a adjective modifier, if you like. It intensifies the adjective, so it makes it stronger. So in this example here, I'm going to be proper productive today. The word productive, yes, usually, Julia, proper does mean good enough. But in the colloquial context that I'm talking about, it just intensifies the adjective. So in this example, where it's going to be proper productive today, it means like very productive, like super amazingly off the charts productive. And we use that quite a lot in a colloquial context. And that's the kind of sentence I would say most days, because I wake up most mornings saying, yeah, I'm going to be proper productive today, and it never quite happens like that. Okay, standard. Okay, now usually this word means something that is approved. I think you have the same word in Russian, don't you? So you would understand what this word means in a normal context. It also means something that's typical. So, I mean, the example I've got here is taking the meaning of something that's approved. So the Food Standards Agency, which is an organisation we have in the UK to check all the standards of food, as it might suggest, has recently published a new study about the quality of food in supermarkets. Okay? Obviously the word standards in there is to do with the approval of the standards of food and the quality of the food. Okay? But in a colloquial context, we do use it to mean like something that's typical or something that's expected, but it's a one-word response to a question, not a question, but a statement made by another person. So in this example, saw Alice last night. She was completely off her face. Standard. Okay. So what this one person says that he saw this girl Alice. By the way, I don't know anybody. I'm not friends with anybody called Alice, so this was just a random name I picked. She was completely off her face. Now, off her face means it's an expression to say really, really drunk. We have an awful lot of those expressions. You could do an entire presentation on them, in fact. But it's the kind of thing that would be where the word standard would be used. So somebody says, saw that girl last night, she was completely off her face, and the response is standard, like you expect it of that person, but it's always a one-word response. It's kind of like usually, but more like typical. Yeah, exactly, as per usual, as usual. But you would never say the word usually in this context. Like you just the word standard gets across your feelings a lot better. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, I would have expected that of her, but instead you just say standard. Like it's quite difficult to explain because it's a very typical thing of people to say. It's a very standard thing for young people to say. It's not really like wow. you would never say non-standard, and it's not like wow. It's like you expected it. You would have predicted it if somebody hadn't told you. Okay, the word sweet. So normally, as I'm sure you're aware, it describes a thing that tastes sweet, that has a sugary taste to it. Oh, sorry, hang on one second. Ellen, yes, you can use the word in writing, but only on things like social media. So not in terms of formal writing, but in terms of like, on Facebook and contacting, that kind of thing, you can say the word standard, because it's kind of like oral written communication, but more often than not it's an already spoken word. Obviously standard in its proper meaning, there we go, is it can be used in a written context. Okay, some people are coming up with some examples for the standard word use of the word sweet. Sweet, like I say, is something to describe something that tastes sugary, or something, or somebody that's really nice, like sweet girl, or sweet like cute. So she's got a sweet smile. Oh, that's actually a compound noun, Laura. She is my sweetheart. So the words sweet and heart go together. Sweet dreams. So you're all thinking of examples where you would normally use the word sweet. Now, in a colloquial context, it does change its meaning. So here we go. Got a couple of examples. I've got a really high mark on that essay we had to, on that last essay we had to hand in. Oh, sweet, well done. And it's usually a response, and it's usually to express that you think what that person has said is great, or you agree with it. So this one person gets a really high mark and you say, oh, sweet, well done. Okay? And then the second example, we're going to the pub tonight. You want to come? Sweet, yeah, see you there. So the person that is invited to the pub agrees and says, sweet, yeah, I'm there, I'm coming. Do you see what I mean? Okay, great. We can move on to the next word, which is banging. Okay, so the usual meaning would be like bang, 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 bang. I don't know if you can hear that. So it's a noise usually. So in the example here, we've got quit banging on my door. I'll be there in a minute. Okay, so you have the idea of there's somebody going bang, 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 bang on the door. Okay, but in a colloquial context, and my friend Reese does this quite a lot, it's like, yes, it could mean knocking on the door, but we say banging it, it sort of indicates that this kind of action, like an angrier action, because just a knock is just like knock, 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 but a banging is like boof, boof, boof kind of thing. But in a colloquial context, I'd say something like this. So somebody says, we're planning on going to that musical festival this weekend. You in? Yeah, man, sounds banging. Okay, it's actually a synonym for good. And I suppose you could use sweet in this context, but banging is almost like a level above sweet. So you would say, oh, going to an Indian restaurant tonight, haven't had a curry in ages. Banging. Like, it's really, really good. It's not just good, it's really, really good. But there are sexual connotations to this word. Okay, banging is another way of saying having sex. So be careful if you choose to use it, because an English person or an American person, I'm not sure if it exists in this context in America, but certainly an English person would be a little bit confused if you were to use it in the wrong way. So if you say, sounds banging or the party was banging and so on, that's absolutely fine. But if you were to say, heard somebody banging last night, you wonder who they were banging, if you see what I mean. So do be careful. Okay. But I think you've got the hang of that one, so we'll move on. Okay, just quickly, awkward. When a situation is awkward, so when a silence falls and you're not quite sure what to say, and you're worried about, you know, like forcing the conversation and so on, we say this, well, we say awkward turtle, and we do, let's see if we can, yeah, get the camera, we do this action. Ooh. Okay, can you see my hands doing that? Okay, we go awkward turtle. Okay, and then we do loads of other ones. So like awkward balloon. And my favourite is awkward cow. See, these are its udders, and you milk the udders. Okay, so it's awkward cow, and then somebody else gets their hands and goes, ooh, kind of thing. Okay, awkward elephant. And then awkward baby turtles is like, awkward turtle, boop, awkward baby turtles, if you see what I mean. And that's done quite a lot to avoid an awkward situation. Okay, so have fun with that. It was really, really good to talk to you at all, and I hope to see you all again soon, starting on Monday. Yay! Bye!